Week 20 of the NHL season was flat out of control. We had the game of the year that featured 5 fights, double-digit goals, and triple-digit penalty minutes. We may very well have witnessed the goal of the season, which was outrageous. You had star players chirping fans, dropping the gloves, and getting targeted. Everyone feels like fighting in Buffalo. We're all having fun, and the road to the NHL playoffs is heating up. So let's cover what really happened in Week 20 of the NHL season. Sunday starts with a heavyweight matchup between the Avs and the Wild. This was Nazem Kadri's first game back as an Av after the trade that brings him back since he won the Stanley Cup. He gets a standing O from the crowd, picks right back up from where he left off, feeding the Nate Dog. That's his first point back in Colorado, and this one was toyed all the way around. I'd expect no less from Minnesota and Colorado this season. It goes to a shootout where, again, the Dog does it. That's the winner as the Avs just continue to look like the runaway Cup favorite down the stretch here. Next up is Bruins versus Penguins. Let me know who ordered a pizza, and it looks like it's Artur Shilov's absolutely pooches playing the puck for Pasternak to score the easiest goal of his life. Thanks for the cookie, he says. Also, Pavel Zacha decided to have a legacy game in this one. Picks up the garbage for the hat trick. 3-0 Boston. But don't call the Uber. This ain't over. Pittsburgh scores 3 in the third, forces OT, and then the Tommy Novak himself, game winner. Penguins, no Malkin, no Sid, get the job done. Thanks for coming out. Speaking of OT, Dallas finishes the job themselves. Miro Heiskanen tells the Bedards to hit the showers. Stars stay hot with the win there. Moving on to the Red Wings, who are slowly slipping while they watch the teams around them continue to win, but they lock in to shut out the Devils. Feel-good story of the night here is Dominic Schein, 32 years of age, scores his first NHL career goal. Never too late to have yourself a night. Also, because it's March, the Blues are randomly a wagon. These assholes, they do it every single year where they randomly become one of the best damn teams in the league after the trade deadline. They definitely won't make the playoffs, or I shouldn't say definitely, they probably won't make the playoffs. Despite selling at the deadline, they go into Anaheim and blank them 4-0 to go a perfect 4-for-4 on their road trip. Anaheim does stay at the top of the Pacific, though, because the Golden Knights are riding the struggle bus while the Oilers are starting to breathe down their neck here. McDavid gets a 2-point night by accident like he usually does, and the Oilers put up a good performance, and someone, for the love of God, act like you want to win the Pacific. It seems like no one wants to take that division by the horns because it is simply the worst division in the league right now. But in what was the game of the year was the Sabres and Lightning. In fact, this game was so damn good, it needed its own video on this channel this week. So if you want to see a full breakdown, you can check it out after this video. But here's the Coles notes. First, a total of 5 fights in this game. Everyone woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Brandon Hagel wanted to kill Rasmus Dahlin and almost did. And here's how the game went. Buffalo took a 3-0 lead. Tampa got 1. Buffalo got another. Tampa got 5 straight. Then Buffalo scored again. Then Tampa scored again. And then Buffalo said, all right, enough is enough here. They scored 3 unanswered to eventually win this game 8-7. 15 goals total, over 100 penalty minutes, and a Sabres win that has them first in the Atlantic. No one deserves this more than the fans in Buffalo, and playoff hockey is looking like it's right around the corner for them. Now, Monday was literally the night of the toilet bowl. 4 out of the 5 games all involved at least one team in the Gavin McKenna or first overall sweepstakes. But before we get into that debacle, we had a big one between the Kings and Blue Jackets. Columbus made a few moves at the deadline. One of them was picking up Connor Garland, and he makes a splash right away. Double dipping the chip for 2 goals on the night, and the Blue Jackets needed a little magic to get this to OT as Marchenko ties it up late, but the Kings have the underrated superstar and the OT killer in Adrian Kempe. He winds up and sends a piss missile. Thanks for having me. That's all she wrote. Kings win that game. Now let's get into the ugly stuff. Rangers Flyers, not a good time, but the Rangers blow out Philly 6-2. Congrats on lessening your chances to win the draft lottery. Next is the Flames and Caps. Both of these teams sold the farm at the deadline. Caps scored 3. Flames responded with a 3 of their own to tie it, and then realized in the third, what the hell are we doing here? We're trying to tank. So they let Washington explode for 4 goals in 10 minutes to win 7-3. Next is Mammoth versus the Bedards. Chicago needs to win the draft lottery so we could quit calling them that. Now, how about this? Logan Cooley turns into Kurt Angle by German suplexing Connor Bedard. He doesn't like that, so he's given headlocks later in the game. But then we see a little bit of innovation from Andre Burakovsky. He comes up with this little mini Michigan, takes the puck and scoops it into the net. Cheeky bugger. This game would go to OT, where we get a little tale of perseverance. Frankie Nazar has a breakaway to end the game, and he just fumbles the puck. That's all right. On to the next one. He gets a chance at redemption, and this time he doesn't forget the puck. That's the game. He combs his hair back for the Selly. Blackhawks get the 2 points. to hurt their lottery odds. Now, you know that wasn't the case, though, with the Canucks. A couple of stick taps, though, for Optimus Rhyme in net for Ottawa. He gets his first shutout as a Senator. The Sens are getting hot. Tim Stützle is on a 13-game point streak, and they now just sit 3 points out of a playoff spot to end Monday. Now, before we get into Tuesday's games, there's something that most people don't realize about being online, and that is just how much of their personal information is floating around. If you quickly Google your name along with your city, there's a good chance you'll find websites listing things like your address, phone number, email, and other personal details, usually without you ever agreeing to it. And that information can easily be bought, sold, or used by pretty much anyone with an internet connection. That's where Incogni comes in, the sponsor of today's video. Incogni is a service that works to remove your personal data from the internet. Their team goes after data broker sites, people search engines, and other databases that collect and sell your information. They've also recently added a new feature to their unlimited plan called custom removals. Basically, if you find a website that has your personal data on it, you can submit that link directly through your Incogni dashboard. Their team reviews it, and if it qualifies, their privacy experts will get it worked to remove. On top of that, Incogni is already working behind the scenes across hundreds of major data broker databases by sending removal requests and following up to make sure your data actually stays gone. Right now, Incogni is offering 60% off an annual plan when you use the code HOCKEY at the link in the description down below. So if you want to take control of your data and get it removed from these sites, check that out in the description down below. And a big thanks to Incogni for sponsoring today's video. All right, Tuesday's the big day here. 13 games on, so let's kick it up a notch. Red Wings versus Panthers. If there's any team I'm truly concerned for, it's Detroit. The underlying numbers haven't indicated all year that they're an elite team, and goaltending has kept them hot. This game was no bueno for them, though. They're up 3-2 with 90 seconds left, and they blow it. Carter Verhaeghe, Tippy Longstocking to tie it up, and then with 23 seconds left, Detroit lets Florida go off to the races, and it's Verswaggy again with the dagger to win 4-3 in regulation. Detroit comes out with 0 points in a race in the East where that just can't happen. On to the Kings and Bruins. Someone started GoFundMe to get Charlie McAvoy to wear a cage or some bubble wrap. This guy can't catch a break because his face can't stop catching pucks. Can't take the fight out of the dog, though, because he says, give me that cortisone shot and get me back out there. He comes out for the OT and scores the game winner. Bruins win their 13th in a row at home, and classy gesture for them at the end of the game, waiting around two to shake Anze Kopitar's hand and what will be his last game there before he calls it a career. Speaking of calling it, the Leafs should just call it a season. It's the oldest rivalry in hockey. Leafs versus Habs, and Montreal takes their 2 free points. Lane Hudson sets a new record, passing Sergei Zubov for the most assists by a defenseman in his first 150 games. Fun fact as well, the Seattle Seahawks, Super Bowl champs, have won a more recent game than the Toronto Maple Leafs. The parade is so canceled unless, of course, they find a way to win the draft lottery. Meanwhile, the Blue Jackets trades continue to pay off as Connor Garland is a menace with his new team. He gets a couple more as the Jackets take down Tampa 5-2, and Columbus stays right near the playoff line while Tampa has looked very mid recently, losing 6 of their last 7 games. Toilet bowl warning here, Rangers versus Flames. Ironically, the Rangers have been a much better team ever since trading Panarin. All of a sudden, they're the ones shutting out the other team at MSG for once as they beat Calgary 4-0 courtesy of an Alexi Lafreniere Hattie. Checking on the potential fraud list, the Golden Knights are on top as they've lost 6 of their last 7 and they've only beaten 1 playoff team since November. So they got the Fugazi warning all over them. Jamie Benn scores a power play goal for the game winner. Dallas wins 2-1 in regulation, and if it wasn't for Vegas playing in the worst division in the sport, they'd be in trouble. Going to this one, the Penguins are in trouble against Carolina, down by 2 with 3 minutes left, and then Stu Skinner says, give me that damn puck. Flashes the leather like his wife and grandma are in the crowd, says, how you like that, and then kickstarts a comeback for Pittsburgh to tie the game by scoring 2 goals in under 3 minutes. The Penguins have that dog in them this year, but Carolina avoids the choke as Jackson Blake says, let's hit the showers, and finishes it in a shootout. Also, Buffalo, what the hell? They sucked for 15 years and then said, okay, we're going to be playing some of the most entertaining hockey you've ever seen. First, newly acquired Logan Stanley says, I got to let the boys know I'm ready to go to war with them. He drops the gloves to send a message, and then out of nowhere, too, Beck Malenstein is turning into Eric Lindros, hitting, fighting, scoring goals. He absolutely rocks Celebrini and then has a tilt with Barclay Goodrow, and he's not done there either. He then decides to dance a defender one-on-one, and Barry, come on. This guy is on fire. Sabres in general are such a wagon. Every game is a riot. We had another line brawl on this one too. Jack Quinn got his first career NHL hat trick in a 6-3 win. That's 8 in a row for them and their 40th win of the season. What a time to be alive in Buffalo. Side note from this game as well is that Celebrini became the fastest teenager behind just Wayne Gretzky and Sidney Crosby to reach 90 points in a single season. Ridiculous. You know what's also ridiculous too? Scoring your first NHL goal and it looking as nice as this. Ryan Ufko, pure silk. Leave out the silk and cookies for Santa because this is a gift to watch. Just carves through everyone like butter and berries. That was the game winner as well. I'll also announce that I was just kidding about the St. Louis Blues. All-time fumble coming up here. They're up 3-0, but the Islanders crawl all the way back, and Braden Shen against his former team gets the easiest assist of all time in OT. He just gives it to Matt Barzal. He walks the defender like a dog and rips it to complete the comeback. That means the Islanders are still undefeated in 3-on-3 OT. Get these guys in the Olympics for Team Canada next time. Now, they also say money can't buy you happiness. Wild fans say screw that. Money got us the Carillionaire himself. 17 sheets a year, and he shows us why. He gets his own rebound while falling on one knee, second in the NHL in goals, and when he's healthy, he's among the best in the world. Minnesota steamrolls the Mammoth 5-0 to remain 3 points back of Dallas. We spoke about how bad the Pacific was with Vegas, but that just means the Ducks are running away with the division lead. Joel Quenneville has taken this team of young Bucks and put them on the edge of doing something very special in year one. 4-1 dub over Winnipeg. Ducks look like they're only getting stronger here down the stretch. Finally, we end with McDavid versus McKinnon, where we get a little bit of controversy. McKinnon goes to make a play for the backdoor tap-in, and as Nurse deflects it away, he bumps into McKinnon while he drives towards the net, and that just propels him into absolutely blowing up Connor Ingram. It's a yard sale. The blocker comes off. The guy is bleeding. He has to leave the game, and then the refs are reviewing it for a major. Gary says, yeah, tell him to hit the showers, and McKinnon can't believe it. He's ejected from the game for goaltender interference. Now, in my opinion, it's not a major. Definitely a penalty, but Nurse's contact pushes McKinnon right into the tendy. This is McKinnon, not Sam Bennett going into the crease here. The intent was to make a play, and he caught him clean. I don't think the injury on the play should determine the severity of the call as well, but it is what it is. He's out of the game, and the Oilers get a 5-minute power play. They don't score there, but they do later on the man advantage with this sorcery between the two cheat codes. McDavid pokes it down low to Draisaitl, 360 no scopes off the check into the lane, and gets it right back from Draisaitl to score. Sickening. Give me a gravel. The Oilers win 4-3, and the Avs are predictably pissed about the officiating after the game, but that's just the way she goes to end Tuesday. So after that rodeo, we only had 2 games on, both in the East, and both mean a lot. We got Montreal trying to maintain their spot as a top 3 team in the Atlantic against the Senators, who are just trying to make it into the dance. And I'm going to show you what Ottawa's seasons look like in one play here. Tied game. Montreal takes a shot from distance. Ulmerich has no clue where the rebound is. Puck is moonwalking beside him. He doesn't see it, but Ivan Demidov does. The demigod cleans up the garbage to take the late lead. Also, as if Montreal isn't already stacked to the brim with young talent, Jacob Fowler, the 21-year-old tendy of the future, becomes Neo from the Matrix. Stretch Armstrong stopping everything in the final minute to hold off the Sens. A total of 32 saves on 32 shots. What a huge win for Montreal to tie them with Tampa, while Ottawa's playoff chances take a big hit. The other game was 2 teams chasing the Sens, Caps and Philly. Here's Tom Wilson absolutely trucking Travis Konechny, because why the hell not? The Flyers, though, do get themselves a game from Zegras and Tippett. They win 4-1 and then do what every Flyers team should do at the end of the game, and that's fight. Caps are sour, and they should be, because their season is on life support after that loss. Now, ladies and gentlemen, buckle up for a chaotic Thursday from start to finish. Let's kick it off with Leafs versus Ducks. Out of the gate, we got a tilt. Pizzetta versus Vale. Couple lefts, couple rights. Sit in the box for 5. Think about what you did. One of the bigger storylines of the Leafs sucking this year is indeed Austin Matthews. He's on a 12-game goalless drought. He finally wires one home to get his mojo back, and then he decides he wants to put Ratko Gudas in the blender with an inside-out move, but Gudas is never going to allow that. He sticks out the knee last second and catches Matthews with a knee-on-knee. Dirtiest play you can do, and not a single Toronto Maple Leaf steps up and defends their captain. If you want to know why the Leafs are horrible and why their culture sucks, this right here is Exhibit A. If you're not willing to go to war war with each other. You'll completely fold at the first sign of adversity. Gudas gets kicked out for 5. Matthews leaves the game and doesn't come back, and the Leafs win the game, which is actually just a big loss for them at this point because they're just trying to tank and they can't even lose properly. The Panthers are also making their last push as well. They got to run the table if they're going to do something special. They go to OT where Samson Reinhart keeps Florida's season alive against Columbus. They've now won 3 in a row to not go along with the tank job themselves. The Blue Jackets, though, they still get a point, which is bad for Boston. They host San Jose, having won 13 games in a row at home. But sometimes it just ain't your night because you got to see this. This is, without a doubt, the incognito goal of the week, maybe the goal of the season. Sir William Eklund says, "I'm driving the net," tucks the puck under the defender's stick to get a shot off. It's stopped. The puck then bounces in the air, and this sick freak, while getting tripped by the goalie, bats this one out of the air, top shelf. Oh my goodness, I'm going to be sick. That is just outrageous, and the goal of the week. Round of applause for Sir William Eklund there. You know the Sharks were winning this game after that, but chaos broke out near the end of the game as Charlie McAvoy says, "You reach, I teach." He catches Sherwood going chin over shin and rocks him. And what do you know? Every Shark on the ice responds to that. Send this clip over to the Leafs. Answer the bell and ask questions later. San Jose gets a massive 2 points and are back in a playoff spot. The 2026 Sharks Cup prophecy is still alive. Now, I'm telling you, we're getting closer and closer to sounding the alarm in Detroit. Before the game, they announced that their captain Dylan Larkin and Andrew Kopp were out at least 2 weeks. That's no bueno. Tampa takes full advantage, wins 4-2, and I swear to God, if Detroit blows this again, it will be unforgivable. Moving on to the funnest team in the league, and the Buffalo Sabres, they're just having a blast right now. Watch this from Tage Thompson. In one shift, he unloads 5 one-timers. Buddy is at the driving range just teeing off and letting it fly, but the Caps actually pull off the last-minute robbery in this one. Jacob Chikrin scores the game winner with 90 seconds left to snap their 8-game winning streak. Big one for Washington to stay alive here. We can check in on our toilet bowl teams between the Devils and Flames. Jack Hughes, since scoring the golden goal, has been red hot. He's got 10 points in his last 8 games since the Olympics. He scores again in this one, but they ultimately fulfill their duties in the tank job as they lose 5-4 to Calgary. The annual Blues wagon in the spring took a day off last game, but they're back just in time to upset the Hurricanes 3-1 with a pair from Jimmy Snuggerud, the best last name in the sport, as Carolina fails to get their 2 gimme points there. Now, we all know how the last 2 Western Conference Finals have gone between the Oilers and Stars, but the Stars are out for redemption this season. They destroyed the Oilers 8-3 in their last meeting, and this one was not much different. End of the second, it's 5-2 Dallas. Tempers are starting to boil over here for Edmonton, and Connor McDavid decides he's had enough of everything. He grabs the rookie Ritz Koven and starts getting in the mix in there with him. He doesn't drop the gloves, just more of a wrestling match, but still, you don't see McDavid getting that pissed off and deciding he's going to try and rough someone up. I guess that's what happens when Tristan Jarry is your goalie. Ritzkoven, by the way, the Dallas rookie, was absolutely tilting Edmonton all night long too. First, he gets under McDavid's skin, and then he just starts chirping the entire Edmonton bench. Just expert level rage baiting from the kid, as this was a spanking from start to finish. Matthew Shane also scored one of the nicer goals of the year on the night where we got to see the nicest goal of the year. He's out here just toe dragging his way through the mess, having the Oilers D look like the 3 blind mice. 7-2 win for the Stars, and it ain't looking good for Edmonton. It's a big 2 points for Dallas, especially because Minnesota loses to Philly, who's hanging on by a thread, but they're still in the mix. Travis Konechny, shootout winner, keeps the Flyers season alive. Can't say the same for the Jets, though, who lose to the Rangers. Their season's already on life support, but if you lose to the 2026 New York Rangers with your season basically on the line, it's probably time to start booking the trips to Cabo. Vancouver, however, has all their trips already booked. This should be an easy 2 points for Nashville, who is 1 point back of a playoff spot. They're up 3-1 with 5 minutes left, and they completely blow it. Canucks win and complete the comeback in a shootout, and if the Preds miss, this is the exact type of game that they look back at and completely regret. Moving on to the Penguins versus Golden Knights. Pittsburgh is still without Malkin and Crosby, and it showed here. Vegas takes care of business with a 6-2 win. They got to start shedding that Fugazi name somehow, and beating a team in a playoff spot is a good start. Meanwhile, Nathan McKinnon has just been stewing with anger ever since he got ejected, and he comes out barking. The dog put up 3 points in the first period, 4-point night as a whole. Kadri got his first goal since being back as an Av as Colorado spanked Seattle 5-1. Then finally, we have the Blackhawks versus the Mammoth, and someone pissed Connor Bedard off right from the start. He's out here chucking the body, throwing hits, and this guy must hate Utah fans. First, he sets up this goal and damn near breaks his neck to turn around and stare down a Utah fan. Savage Bedsy is a whole other animal. This game goes to OT, where who is Johnny on the spot? You guessed it. Connor Bedard gets the OT winner and then turns into Kirk Cousins with another stare down. He says, you like that? The Blackhawks sweep the season series against Utah, with Connor Bedard leading the way to end a crazy Thursday of hockey. Friday, we had a Batman special on. Again, just 2 games on. First is Kings and Islanders, 2 teams right in the hunt, and it was all LA. It starts with less is more. Trevor Moore, home alone, says, thanks for having me. Kopitar buried for the Kings too, as they win 3-0, and the Isles do the classy thing and giving him handshakes as well. The other game was between the Oilers and Blues, and in the most Oilers game ever, we see McDavid saying, I'll do it myself. Coast to coast, butter and toast. Gives his team a 2-0 lead, and they blow it all in under 8 minutes. Oilers choke it away in OT as Robert Thomas says, how do you like me now after being in trade rumors for the last couple of weeks? The Oilers' uncertainties continue while St. Louis is just 5 points back of a playoff spot. So that sets up a pretty big Saturday, starting with the Ducks and Sens. No Gudas for the Ducks. 5-game suspension for him means everyone's kneecaps are safe in this one. So that's good news. Bad news, we still have no clue what the hell goalie interference is. We think this one's coming back because there's a skate in the crease and he clearly touches the goalie. No, Gary says we need goals so it counts. The Sens get those rare saves they've been looking for. Allmark gets a shutout, which is a huge 2 points for Ottawa. That's important for Bruins and Caps. Everyone's arseholes are puckered because the East is a circus. Charlie McAvoy plays better when he's hurt, mostly because he's always hurt. 2 goals on the night. Shocker. This one goes to a shootout where for 9 rounds, nobody can score until the kid, Fraser Minton, says, I'll do it. Nice trade, Toronto. Bruins get one they need badly. Then we get a couple teams ruining their tank against Central juggernauts. First, the Jets beat the Avs 3-1 with all the big boys stepping up. Shifley 2 points. Hellebuck 29 saves. They wish they had that back in December. Meanwhile, the Rangers do the same thing against the Wild. It is funny almost how the Rangers are on a mini heater all of a sudden. 4 in a row just to worsen their odds for a better pick. But the best part is Igor pulling the old step into the lane and flop. Draws a penalty and everyone on the ice decides to just jump each other. The Islanders also decided to call 1-800-BIG-SAVE-DAVE. They dial his number for 30 saves on 32 shots against the Flames. They need those 2 points. Meanwhile, what a week for Kopitar. Out here shaking hands, kissing babies, and breaking records. He scores the late game-tying goal to become the all-time LA Kings point leader, passing Marcel Dion. He's hot, but no one's hotter than Jack Hughes, who gets the late winner. Kings lose out on crucial points, but Kopitar still gets his handshake, so I guess it's all good. It also looks like the Leafs have been bullied into acting like they care about each other now. Leafs, Sabres, someone runs Joseph Wall, and they actually do something about it. Wow, that's nice. Too little, too late, though. Buffalo wins in a shootout. Sabres are going to need a bigger wagon with everyone jumping on, especially because the Tampa struggle bus continues. They host the Carolina Hurricanes and get outshot 35-19 like anyone who plays Carolina. They lose 4-2, and the Hurricanes remain the silent killers in the East, but Tampa has been cold ever since returning from the break. That means we end another week where the Sabres are firmly in first in the Atlantic Division. Also, the Macklin Celebrini show made its way to the Bell Center. 3-point night, 2 goals, including the empty netter. The Sharks win their second in a row to occupy the last wild card spot in the West. Celebrini, by the way, has 49 more points than in the next highest scoring Shark. We are literally seeing MVP stuff right now from a teenager. On to the Blue Jackets and Flyers. This is a playoff game right from the gun, especially because Kirill Marchenko makes Denver Barkey's face an advertisement on the boards. He staples him from behind, only gets 2 minutes, and then rubs salt in the wound with the shootout winner. Also, if you're taking a shot anytime a game goes into OT or a shootout tonight, you're going to be hammered by the time the night's over, although you're probably already into the liquor if you're a Red Wings fan right now. Regardless, Detroit was down 2-0 to Dallas. They managed to come back with everybody loves Lucas Raymond tying the game up to force OT, but Detroit can't buy one right now. Thomas Harley hands them their 3rd straight loss. They are slipping in the standings. The bad beats continued in Utah also as Logan Cooley goes crashing hard into the post with his leg. He's already missed 8 weeks earlier this season for a similar leg injury he suffered in Vancouver. Now that is no bueno. Pittsburgh, though, with no Gino and Sid in the lineup, shows some dog to win this one. They've just had to maintain in this stretch here without those two, and they've they've done a decent job with Malkin coming back next game. Let's also give a couple snaps here to Seattle for getting their 2 free points from Vancouver. Bobby McMann scores 2 goals. Hashtag thanks Toronto. This week has been an absolute dunking on the Leafs, which everyone outside of Toronto loves. Finally, we had the Bedards versus the Golden Knights, where again, Bedard isn't taking shit from anyone. Him and Korzak get into it. It's been a frustrating year for him and the Hawks as a whole. Just as they were finding a little bit of their mojo, Bedard got hurt. The team fell way out of the wild card race, and it's been another disappointing season for Chicago yet again as Vegas takes the win to end a wild week of hockey. So, what did you think of week 20? Who surprised you? Who pissed you off? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to see more breakdowns and weekly recaps, you can check out some of the videos here. We just did a breakdown on the Leafs situation, which you can check out on screen. As always, if you want to stay up to date on everything NHL, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you don't miss a single thing.